I got the strangest feeling. This is not our first time around. Because there's a demiurge who keeps on bringing us back here over and over again. Cause he doesn't care about our feelings. Past like and just restarting the whole thing. Yeah, man, we are cooked. It sucks that most of us are not happy with this existence, you know. It sucks and it's strange. When you think about it, it's really strange. Like, this is the only world that you know, or the only world that you think you know. But it's full of horrors. Horrible things are happening every day. It gets to a point where a lot of people feel discouraged. There's something that I don't think we have realized as a collective. I don't think we realize that a lot of people are afraid to be themselves. They are so demoralized, so defeated that they're not even living. It sucks to be dead while you're still alive. Like, you are controlled by society. It's like you don't matter, like you've never existed. You're afraid to be yourself because of what society has done to you. Like, this world is so horrible that it made it hard for you to be yourself. To say, this is me. People are cruel. So cruel that it's not easy to feel sorry for anyone. Ever felt sorry for someone but then thought, it's just a human and we suck. Like, that human probably did a lot of things that I don't like. Do you feel like you are really being yourself? Are you able to live life the way that you want to live life? Or you are controlled by other people? Before you do something, you ask yourself, what are people going to think? How are people going to feel? And if people don't feel good about what you're doing, you feel bad. You wish you'd have done things differently. Why? Isn't it better to be who you really are and let the world respond the way that it responds to you? Like, this is who I am. This is what I think. If I'm not strong, I'm not strong. You know what I'm saying? If I'm weak, I'm weak. I can't pretend to be strong if I'm not strong. But also understand something. People who don't like you will make you feel bad about yourself. Even if you're strong, they will say something like, you weak. You know, if there's a person who's going to say that you're weak, trust me, they don't love you. Everyone who's here is strong. Trust me. The things that we've had to go through as sentient being, Hey, there isn't a person who should say to another person that they are weak. We have been through a lot. Every person is strong. Don't be afraid of being called anything. Just be you. Like, as long as you're being you. If someone decides to judge you and you're not being yourself, that's when you should feel bad. You'll be like, ish, yeah, but I was being fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being judged for being, like, if I did some fake shit and people started to judge me, yeah, I should feel bad. But if I'm being real, if I'm being honest, I can't feel bad. You know, whenever a person decides to misjudge me, I don't feel bad. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, in fact, when a person decides to misjudge me, I feel validated, right? And I feel like responding. I'm like, I want to prove to you, like, damn, you don't understand what I understand. I want to prove to you that I'm right. That's how confident I am. Confidence isn't about being loved by many people or getting good results. It's about feeling like whatever you are or however you're living is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about comparing yourself with other people. Like, oh, that person is able to do things that I cannot do. Like, you have to feel like, I don't know, you have to feel like you're the main character, man. I don't care if you're homeless. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if every person that you talk to doesn't show you love. You know, you feel like the whole world hates you, the whole world is against you. I don't care. You have to feel like you're the main character because you are. Like, what reason do you have to believe that you're not the main character? Don't live in fear, man. You can conquer this thing. I'm telling you, the real problem here is fear. We are afraid. That is the real problem. I'm telling you the truth right now. That is the real problem. We are afraid and we are listening to our fears. You're afraid and you're listening to fear. Oh, fear, you're right. You pay attention to fear. Whenever there's fear, you pay attention to it. Ever realize that? You pay more attention to fear than you do courage. You focus more on fear than you focus on courage. Be you. Be you. It doesn't matter how unique you are. It doesn't matter what the world says. If the whole world hates you, then be it. You know what I'm saying? Because what can you do? Are you going to be fake? Are you going to be a people pleaser? You think that's the best way to live? Do you genuinely think that you would have lived? If today was your last day on earth and you were a people pleaser, would you say that you have lived? Would you be proud of yourself? Like, yeah, I lived a great life, you know what I'm saying? I pleased everyone. Like, no, you gotta please yourself. Even if the world reacts negatively. You see, even if you don't succeed, you would have tried to please yourself than to please others. You'll be like, yeah, well, I did the right things. I don't regret anything. The world was just garbage. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine myself in the afterlife talking like this? Like, yeah, the world was just garbage. I was myself. I did things that made sense to me. I believed things that made sense to believe. Like, I didn't believe nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I believed things that made sense to me. I lived life in a way that made sense to me. If I suffered because, well, it was a hell rim. I didn't suffer because I was afraid to be myself. I was afraid to stand up for myself. I was not courageous. No. What's stopping you from being you? People justify not being themselves. If you realize that, a person will be justifying not being themselves. You're like, why are you justifying not being yourself? As if that's okay. Like, stop justifying not being yourself. You can be yourself if you decide right now. Even if you experience a lot of nonsense in your life, if you decide right now to be yourself, you can be. And the whole world decides to judge you, it's fine. They will get used to the real you. They will think you're crazy at first if you've been fake your whole life. And a lot of us are fake. A lot of people look at other people and be like, oh, that one is fake. I'm like, you're fake too. Like, how many people do you think are real in this world? Not a lot of people. We're living in fear, bro. And fear is what the Matrix is getting its power from. We're powering the Matrix by being afraid. Every time you're supposed to stand up for the truth, you're like, I ain't standing up for the truth. There's that girl and I have a crush on her, you know what I'm saying? How is he gonna look at me if I speak the truth right now? I have friends here, you know what I'm saying? People know me here. My co-workers are here. Yeah, every time you feed fear, you're feeding the Matrix. The Matrix's biggest power is fear. It needs you to be afraid. Tell the Matrix to stop playing with you. It's not that powerful. The only problem is that you believe it is. You know that it's possible for a person who is not powerful to convince a person who's more powerful or who is actually powerful that they are more powerful than that person. Take care of your mind. One of the worst things you can do is neglect your mind. Some people only go to the gym, be like, yo, let me work out. They don't think about their mind. I'm not even talking about your mental health. Like, this, what I'm talking about is beyond mental health, you know? People, look. Okay. If you were truly yourself, I believe you'll be free. You'll be free even if you were in jail. Like, no matter where you are, you will be free. I think people don't really understand what it really means to be themselves. You know, like when someone says be yourself, I mean, they're not saying what I'm saying. They're saying something else, and because of that, people don't really understand what it really means to be yourself. To be yourself means embracing who you are, whether the world accepts you or not. I'm not saying be toxic. I'm not saying be an a-hole. I'm not saying do bad things. I'm saying choose courage all the time. Because that's what's going to lead you to your true identity. That's literally what's going to make you you. All the things that you're afraid to do that you want to do, that's what make you you. When you think about society, like, I can't do it because of society, no. You're losing. Let them judge you. The matrix is always going to use people to stop you from being you, because the real you is powerful. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, the real you is actually powerful. Like, you have a lot of power in the matrix. Even here in the matrix, you actually have a lot of power. But you were never yourself. Trust me. Trust me on this. If you were really yourself, you will have a lot of power, even in the matrix. Do you understand? Like, what I'm saying is too damn important. This is one of the most important videos that I've ever made. Do you really feel like you were yourself in this world? Or you allow the world to tell you who to be, to judge you? You allowed other humans to judge you. And a lot of these humans are not even on your level. You're like, yeah, judge me. Tell me how to be. Tell me how to dress. Tell me how to think. Tell me how to feel. Feel the way that you feel. One of the reasons why I make videos is because I'm not afraid to tell people how I really feel. Like, why should I be afraid? This is really how I feel. I ain't lying. And that's why I'm proud of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm being me. You understand? Like, I'm really being me. I'm really telling you what I think. I'm not holding back. I'm literally telling you what I think. I like the fact that I don't lie on my videos. I don't know if I'm always right, but what I tell you is what I believe to be the truth. Lying is telling people something that you know is not true. What I tell you is what I think is true. That's me being me. Try to be courageous. Trust me, you'll be free. Time for living in fear is over. You've been through a lot to still be living in fear. Speak your mind. Maybe your father is a pastor. I'm supposed to be going to church every Sunday. Tell them that I don't know. I don't think these things make sense, Dad. I'm being honest. When he gets angry, be like, I'm just telling you what I think. If I'm wrong, you'll be able to prove to me that I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this is really what I think. You can't blame me for being what I am. This is what you produce. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault that I don't believe in Jesus. You can't say it's my fault. Belief is not even a choice. I'm not a Christian. I'm different. Christians act differently. They think differently. I'm not. This is me. If you can change my mind, you're welcome to try. Beautiful. Live with Muslims. Tell them the truth. This is me. They'll call you crazy, call you whatever. In fact, if you want to realize that this is a hell ring, be yourself. Like, it'll be much easier for you to realize that. But here's what's dope, right? Once you realize that you actually become powerful, because the world told you, like, what it is. Like, it will literally tell you what it is. Once you reveal yourself, the world is going to reveal itself to you. One of the biggest reasons why a lot of people who are fake don't see things as they are is because they're not revealing themselves to the world. So why will the world reveal itself to them? If you're fake, the world is going to be fake. It's those who are real who will see that, oh, the world is being fake to this person. Reveal yourself to the world will reveal itself to you. you'll see it for what it is. When other people start seeing it for what it is, you would have already learned how to handle the world. So really, a lot of things that people will feel like, are problems, they wouldn't be problems to you. Like the things that you'll be experiencing won't really feel like real problems because these are things that you've already experienced. So the things that people experience that they feel like are real problems to you will be nothing. This realm really got nothing on you. What it does is misdirect us when we're still young, before we realize our true potential, before we realize who we are. What it has done is make humans judge one another for doing things right, for living life right. If I decided to live life so differently, even if it was the right way to live, even if I was being authentic, even if I was being real, even if I was being courageous, there will be a lot of people who think that I'm crazy. But you find that the truth is that I'm much more free than they are. We're not supposed to be ourselves because we are powerful. But if we're not ourselves, we're something that we're not, something that is less powerful, then the Matrix will be able to control us. Imagine if you were really yourself. Imagine if everyone was who they are. Do you really think that we will be slaves? Do you really think that the Matrix will have won? The Matrix is winning now because we're afraid to be ourselves. People are afraid to speak their minds. People only do what works. There's no courage. People can be bought. People can easily sell their souls. They look at these celebrities who have made it and be like, yeah, Jay-Z sold his soul. You'll be like, you selling your soul too. You know what I'm saying? You're just not getting what Jay-Z is getting. Just because Jay-Z got a lot of money doesn't mean that you better if you feel like he sold his soul. You're doing exactly what you're saying he did. You just didn't get the success that he got. So now you're saying he sold his soul. This reminds me of a line from a battle rapper by the name of, what is his real name? But he goes by the name Disaster. He was battling Kenny Buzz. Kenny Buzz is an underground rapper, like, very dope lyricist. He decided to battle Disaster on King of the Dot in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2010. And he got annihilated. So I like this line by Disaster. He said something like, I hate it when an underground rapper tries to go commercial and then flip-flop and then try to disguise their failure as them being true to hip-hop. Some people do try to be fake. They do try to sell their souls. and they don't succeed. And then they'll be like, I'm real. I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You're like, you wouldn't have done it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, when they try to be something and fail, they blame those who became successful. You know? A lot of people have sold their souls. They're working jobs that they hate. They've signed contracts that they don't even agree with because they're desperate. You know, they literally sold their souls, doing things that they don't like every day. And they will look at Jay-Z, they'll look at Rihanna and be like, yo, they sold their souls. You know, they're being used by the devil. What about you? You get what I'm saying? We need to have enough courage to be ourselves. I believe true freedom comes from that. I believe that if you were yourself in this realm, you will be yourself in any other realm and you will automatically become powerful. The problem is fear, bro. The problem is fear. You are afraid. The Matrix made sure that it destroys your courage completely so that you live in fear. You understand? So you are manifesting everything that's related to fear. Not in a magical way, but in a practical way. If you live in fear, you are going to get the fruits of fear. You get what I'm saying? If you want real people in your life, be real. If you want to have real conversations with people in your life, be real. There was a time when I didn't have anyone that I can talk to about the things that I've realized about the world. And I'd be like, who can I talk to? Before I thought that I could actually start a YouTube channel. Now I can talk to anyone at any time. If I ever need to have real conversations with someone, I could just be on Instagram like, yo, I need to talk to someone. Let's have a real conversation about this world, and we'll have a real. But there was a time when I didn't have anyone. Why? Because I wasn't real. But because I was real, I was able to attract people who are real. And a lot of people who know me know I'm real. If I started being fake, they will say something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I've showed them who I am. Like, this is who I am. Judge me. They got used to who I am. Like, nobody's going to be surprised. But if I was fake and I decided to be real, they will be surprised. But what I'm saying to you is that even if you were fake your whole life, try to be real. They'll get used to the real you. I mean, who else should you be? Think about it thoroughly. Who else should you be if you can't be yourself? Did you come here? I know you didn't choose to be here, but think about it. In a world that you didn't even choose to be brought into, you decide not to be yourself. If you can decide to be yourself, you are already suffering. I don't know if you can suffer any worse than you're suffering. It's just that you have not suffered in ways that you've been avoiding. So you think that is worse. You get what I'm saying? Like, human beings, if they're able to avoid suffering, they will avoid suffering. But what I'm saying to you is that you are suffering worse than you would suffer if you were real. You just think that you will suffer worse because you do have the power to avoid that kind of suffering. But that kind of suffering also comes with freedom, and that's what you really need. You need to be free. But your soul really needs is freedom. You will evolve, bro. You will reach the highest level of consciousness when you become free. And you stay at a very low level of consciousness if you continue to live in fear, if you continue to allow fear to control you. A lot of people will tell you to be yourself as if they know what it really means. And you think that being yourself means being what everyone thinks you should be. Because that's what people believe, actually. When they say be yourself, you think they're saying be what they want you to be, though. Be you, even if the world is going to hate you. Yeah, this is me, bro. I ain't break any law. I'm just being me. Being yourself isn't about being toxic, you know. It's about, you also have to know that you are in a world that has its own laws and rules and all of that. Being yourself is about finding a way to exist while acknowledging how the world works. And you are being you know what I'm saying? You're still being yourself. It's about being intellectually honest. It's about standing up for the truth. It's not about causing distraction. Like, yeah, I gotta fight the system. It's about being you. You're like, this is me. I know the system doesn't want me to be me, but this is me. Keep on watching my videos. When I reach my final form, if you don't really understand what I mean when I say be you, then you will truly understand what I mean. I'm being myself, but I can see that I'm evolving. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're a child and you know that you're gonna end up being an adult, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening. I'm like, I'm growing. I'm growing, so I can see what I will become. You understand what it really means to be yourself. It's not about being toxic. It's not about causing distraction. It's about being authentic. People will sense your authenticity, that you are actually being authentic. Even if they hate you, even if they love you, they will sense your authenticity. There's nothing beautiful about being fake. Can you imagine dying and being in the afterlife and, you know, reviewing your life and realizing that you're living in fear the whole time? You have to be so brave that when you look back at your life, you'll be like, bruh, I lived. You know what I'm saying? I did it right. I wasn't rich, I did it, but I did it right. A lot of people didn't like me, but I lived life right. I wasn't fake. I wasn't living in fear. I wasn't controlled. I was myself. If there's something that rewards people for being real, it will probably reward you. But you definitely don't want to be rewarded for being fake, because you will not have lived your life. You would have not learned about this realm. When you are yourself and you see this realm for what it is, because it will show you what it is, then you will know it. But if you're going to be fake and the world is going to be fake to you, you won't really know the world. It's people who are fake who don't understand the world. People who are delusional who don't understand the world. If you're going to be as real as possible, you understand this realm. In fact, the only thing that's stopping you from understanding this realm is you not being as real as possible. This realm will show you what it really is if you're going to really be yourself. What's really stopping you from being you? Who's really stopping you from being you? Is it not you who's stopping you from being you? I mean, if you decided to be yourself right now, you will be yourself. Right now. It's not impossible. It's not complicated. The world became what it became because we are afraid. The people who are real, people who are conscious, were afraid to be themselves. And yes, it was all by design. It was supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be punished for being you. So you got used to that. You're like, damn, every time when I become real, I get punished. So it means I gotta be fake. Sometimes I think people just think they were born in the Matrix, but they don't really understand what it really means, Like, just say it because it sounds cool to say. You are born in a world that programmed you to be fake, bro. That programmed you to not be the real you. That programmed you to live in fear so that you never wake up. Human beings don't take... I want you to understand. Not even say human beings. I'm saying your true self doesn't take... Right? It doesn't take BS. The real you will stand up for the truth no matter what. You've been dumbed down so much that you forgot how to be the real. It will be like, those dogs that women... I think these kind of dogs are actually liked by white women, right? They don't really look like dogs. You'd swear it's a toy. Like they look like toys. They're so small, and they'll have them on the leash. You can tell they're not a threat to anyone. But were dogs always that way? Nope. You are like that dog. You've been so dumbed down that you forgot to be who you are. But the good news is, unlike a dog, you're not really trapped. This is a consciousness thing. What I like about consciousness is that it can evolve very fast. Like, there are no rules when it comes to consciousness, right? There are no laws when it comes to consciousness. So yeah, that dog is screwed, It can never become a wolf. But you can actually return back to your original self. You just have to choose courage all the time. Like, all the time. No more compromising. You don't decide that, you know what, I don't know, man. Like, stop justifying being afraid. Like, we justify being afraid so much that it becomes normal to live in fear, right? Like, stop justifying fear. You're afraid. So what? Fear belongs in the Matrix. You don't even own fear. Fear is not yours. You can let that shit go. It's not even yours. Even the people that you think are brave, they're still living in fear. It's so easy to stop living in fear. We just feel like it's hard, and everyone feels like it's hard. The ones that you feel like are not brave, but who are doing things that you be like, why is that person doing that? And you're criticizing them. Those are the ones who are not afraid. Those are the ones who have conquered fear. This reminds me of the movie Fight Club. Very brilliant movie. So this guy, he has a mental illness. I don't know if you should call it a mental illness, but he had an alter ego, but he would he fall asleep, and then he becomes someone else, but not know that he became someone else. I mean, he was still himself, and he will do things that he will not do when he was really himself. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, let's say me as Benedictine, whenever I fall asleep, I wake up, but I'm myself, but not really. Like I'm everything that I wanna be. Let me put it that way. Like my alter ego takes over, but this ego contains everything that I want to be, right? So I start doing things that I don't do when I'm during the day when I'm not sleeping. Everything that I'm afraid to do, I do it. Everything that I'm afraid to do, I do it. So yeah, he became very powerful without knowing that he was powerful. Because he always looked down on himself. He let his boss treat him like trash, But when he was truly, let me not say truly himself, but when he was brave and not even knowing that he was capable of that, he was able to make people respect him. And he managed to do things that he thought was impossible. This reminds me of this episode of Rick and Morty. So Rick took Morty to this strange planet where they had they had technology that will allow them to get into like these simulations where they'll feel like it's all real, right? So put something on there like a VCR headset, and they'll be in a simulation. So Morty got he put that thing on Morty, and he woke up and he thought the whole thing was real. He had a life, grew up, got married, ended up getting old and got sick, suffered from cancer, conquered cancer, and then he ended up dying in the library. When Rick put that thing on, everyone was so impressed. Like, damn, man, this guy is like playing this game on another level, If there was another person who can take, like, think. I want you to envision this. Like, if there was this soul that was not living in fear at all, that could take over your body, what do you think they'll be able to do that you feel that you can't do? A lot of things that you feel like you can't do, you feel like you can't do these things because of fear. Nothing else. You shouldn't be afraid. I'm not saying the world is going to respond positively. I'm saying don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of however the world will respond. The world will respond how it wants to respond. Don't always expect love from the world. Don't always expect approval from the world. What you must seek is truth. You must approach the world like, show me what you are, than give me comfort. Like we're approaching the world saying to it, like, give me comfort. No, show me what you are. Show me the truth. Even if the truth doesn't make me comfortable, it's what I want. I mean, why will I not want the truth in this room? Lie isn't beautiful. Living a lie is not beautiful. Imagine if you were 80 and you look back at your life and you're like, damn, I was a coward. Would you be proud of yourself? Like, don't be a coward. Even if you were a coward your whole life, decide to be brave, like it's gonna matter. Even if you were a coward since you were 5 and you are 45 now, decide to be brave now. It's gonna matter. It doesn't, like, being brave, like, you don't need to be brave for the whole year for it to matter. You can even be brave for a day. You can even be brave for a week. Be you. Show them who you really are. That's what really matters. You know what I'm saying? It's not you being fake that matters. It's not people clapping hands for you that matters. It's you, being like, this is me. I understand what I am. You will never understand who you are if you are still deciding to be fake, because you're not in touch with who you are. Do you get what I'm saying? What do you really have to lose? When you think deeply about it, you realize you have nothing to lose. Not even a single thing. You just feel like you have something to lose because you are too attached to this realm. That is the problem. You're attached to this realm, so you feel like there is something that you will actually lose when you become who you truly are. And this realm starts treating you differently. You'll be like, yeah, people are going to judge me, you know what I'm saying? Some people ain't going to look at me the same way that they used to look at me. Some people ain't going to show me love, but you really have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Once you become real and you lose everything, then you have everything to gain. I remember that's what this character that I was telling you about from the movie Fight Club said. I forgot his name. What was his name? Tyler Durden. Yeah, something like that. Tyler Durden. It was like, it's only after you have lost everything that you have everything to gain. And it's true. Like, if you lose everything, bro, I'm talking about you even lose respect. Find that people don't even respect you anymore. Everyone thinks that you're garbage. You don't have any ego to protect. You have nothing. That's when you actually have everything to gain. That is when you will actually live your life. But if you feel like you own everything, you know what I'm saying? Your ego becomes too fragile and it's going to be impossible for you to be yourself. The Matrix wants you to be fake. And there is a reason why. The Matrix knows that if you are yourself, you will be powerful. We are living in fear, bro. And we feel like it's hard to be real. And it feels hard. But the only thing that makes it hard is what we think. It's not hard to do anything, really. Like, anything that you're afraid to do, you can do it. Fear doesn't really stop you. The real problem is that you give it power. Anything that you give it power is going to have power. But you can easily take your power away from anything. You can take your power from whatever God you believed in. If that God isn't helping you, take your power from addiction. There are things that you're addicted to that you feel like you don't have power over, This reminds me of this episode of not Rick of Morty and Morty. This episode of South Park. Randy Marsh stands that he got arrested for drunk driving. One of the funniest episodes. The episode where he got stopped by a traffic officer, and he told the kids, he's Stan and his friends, he was like, yo, trust me, I know how to deal. He actually peed inside a bottle. I think he was drinking alcohol, so he peed inside a bottle and he gave his son. Crazy. So yeah, he was like, yo, trust me, I know how to deal. And when the officer showed up, he was like, what is the officer problem? And the officer realized that dude was drunk. But yeah, as a punishment, he had to go to to some AA meeting that alcoholics go to. Yeah. But they ended up telling him that he has a disease. So he ended up believing that he has a disease and he has no power over his drinking. And Stan was like, you don't have a disease, you just have to decide to not drink. But yeah, man, when we're addicted to things, we feel like we don't have power, but we do. If you decide to not do what you're addicted to, you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who are addicted to things that they're addicted to, they don't shake when they don't do these things. They don't become sick. They don't deal with withdrawal symptoms and all of that. They just give in. Every time they feel lonely, every time they feel alone, every time they're bored, they just give in. And when the addiction takes over, it's a problem. You have power, man. More power than you realize. You've just not been using your power. You've just been living in fear. You're like, my power is not enough. Your power is enough. I don't believe that there's anything that's more powerful than you in this reality. The problem is that you don't realize that you're powerful. But you only have to realize that you're powerful. And you will be powerful. You just have to realize it. But you're not really realizing that you're powerful if you're still afraid to be you. If you're still going to let society control you. Tell you how to dress, how to speak, how to think, how to feel, how to act. What is true, what is not true, what is real, what is not real. The truth is within you. Search within. You'll find the truth. Because who's going to tell you the truth? Like, why are you going to trust? Are you going to trust Benedictine? Are you going to trust your friends? Like, who are you going to trust? You're going to trust your pastor? You're going to trust who? The leaders in your community? Really, the truth has to be within. Think as honestly as possible. Stop letting fear influence your never let fear influence your understanding of things, your conclusions. You can't stop fear, but you can ignore it. You can be like, I'm afraid. The fear is there. The fear will always be there. Especially if you're doing what you need to be doing, there will be fear. So you can be like, yo, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to do this, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm afraid to stand up for the truth, but I'm going to stand up for the truth anyway because that's what I want to do. I don't want to live a lie. I don't want to be fake. I don't believe in being fake. I don't believe there's value in being fake. You stand up for the truth. What do you want to stand up for if you don't want to stand up for the truth? If you don't want to stand up for what you really believe in. So you're gonna be in this realm and be fake your whole life until you die. That's what you came here for. Being fake. People like going on strike. Especially here in South Africa, people will be on strike, they'll be in the street, they'll be dancing and all of that. There's a part of me that thinks that they're having fun. But they're afraid to stand up for the truth. They're afraid to be themselves. When something happens that they don't like and they see people, they find out that there's people who feel the way that they feel, but like, let's go on strike. Now, does it really help? Are you really gonna be you after being on strike, or you gonna go back to being fake? Because people go back to being fake. They'll go on strike, and you be like, oh, they stand for this, and then when they're alone, they're fake. So they stand up for the truth when they are in front of other people, but when they are alone, they don't stand up for the truth. Stand up for the truth even when you're alone. Don't be afraid to be real even when you're alone. Even if no one agrees with you. I've been that kind of person. People will judge me, be like, what happened to you? I remember when I started debating with Christians, people would ask me, what's wrong with you? You used to go to church every day, because I grew up going to church. When I was still like a toddler, my mom took me to church. She had pastors praying for me. I'm supposed to become a Christian, grow up in the house of the Lord. But yeah, I ended up realizing that none of that was real. So I took my own path, and people started judging me, but I wasn't afraid. I was like, this is me, bro. And you have to understand that I grew up in a village where everyone believes in Christianity. Even the people who don't go to church believe that Christianity is true. They just feel like, I don't know if I should say they feel like they're defeated. They feel like they don't deserve God's love. Let me put it that way. But they respect people who go to church. They feel like the people who go to church are better than them. Right? Everyone believes in Christianity where I'm from. They don't even believe it. There are no other religions where I'm from. It's only Christianity. It's Christianity that dominates. So can you imagine telling people who are Christians that the whole thing is not real? And you were a person that people used to admire because you were going to church. You were raised in church. You were respected in church. You used to do poetry in church. You used to rap in church. You used to make gospel music. You know what I'm saying? You inspired a lot of people. You actually inspired people who were not going to church to go to church. You were that cool. Now you're against it. Of course, a lot of people will be surprised. Like, what happened? You got demons or something? But there are no demons. You're just real. You're just honest. You just reached a much higher level of consciousness. And a lot of people are still, I don't know, they're still afraid to be themselves, so that makes it hard for them to reach the level of consciousness that you've reached. When you really, really, really think about it, you realize that there is nothing to fear. Especially in this realm. Nothing. Nothing, bro. Like, the things that you're afraid of, you were programmed to be afraid of these things. I was having a conversation with someone. I was like, there's this horror movie that I've watched. I think it's called The Exorcist. I think it's The Exorcist 3. Yeah, I think it's The Exorcist 3. If it's not The Exorcist 2. So there's this figure, this demonic figure that looks scary. So I was having a conversation with someone. I was like, why are we afraid of that figure? Like, I'm watching that movie and I'm afraid. I'm alone. You know, I've watched that movie when I was alone. And, you know, that figure made me... I felt scared, but I was like, why? I was programmed to be afraid of that. Fear is programmed. You know, like, you don't have to be afraid. There's nothing that you must fear. There are things that cause pain that you're not afraid of. Are you afraid of lions? You must say, oh, I'm afraid of lions. No, you're not afraid of lions. You're not. You actually love lions. Human beings love lions. All right? You post lions all the time. Like, whenever you see a video of lions on TikTok, you watch that video. You call yourself a lion. You're not afraid of lions, but lions can, you know, can F you up. But you're afraid of things that you shouldn't be afraid of. It's because you're programmed to be afraid. You're afraid of people judging you. You don't even realize that if there's something that can stop you, it's fear of being judged. Do you understand? Like, if you're afraid of being judged, that will definitely stop you, because you won't put yourself in a situation where you will be judged. Like, it matters what other people think of me. It doesn't. You know how many people live on this planet, and you feel like it matters what 30 people think about you? You think it matters what 100,000 people think about? It doesn't. What matters is what you think about yourself. And if there are people who think what you think about yourself, great. Not everyone is going to think you're wrong. Not everyone is going to think that you're not on the right path. If you care about what the majority think, you're already on the wrong path, bro. I have never, since I was brought into this room, I've never seen the majority make the right decision. Like, it's always the minority that is right. I don't know why it's like that. But that's part of the reason why this world is trash. Because the majority of people in this room are wrong, and the minority are right. So the minority are outnumbered. And numbers, well, as they say, numbers don't lie. But it's not that numbers don't lie, it's just that we believe that numbers matter. A lot of people can make a wrong decision. Find that one person makes the right decision. But because it's about numbers in this realm, everyone is going to make the wrong decision. It has happened so many times. You find that it's one person who's right and a lot of people are, everyone else is wrong. But this one person is right. But no one realizes that this one person is right because they believe that it's numbers that count. It's not numbers. It's not numbers that count. It's the truth that counts. It's intellectual honesty that counts. in the end, man, what we really need is to be able to wake up from this illusion, is to be able to see things as they really are. And we won't be able to see the world for what it really is if we're still living a lie. There's nothing beautiful about lies, bro. Sometimes you gotta be real, even if you know for sure that the world is not gonna be on your side. Even if you are 100% certain that the world is not gonna be on your side, you're like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be myself. In the end, this is who I am. I'm not Jay-Z. I'm not Beyonce. I'm not my friend. I'm not my parents. I'm not my pastor. I'm not the person that I admire the most. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm me. This is me. The world can say what it says, but I'm being me. That level of authenticity is what's going to free you. That should be your end game. You're like, yo, man, me, when I reach my final form, I'm going to be as real as I can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to live a lie. I'm not going to fake anything. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to express myself the way that I want to express myself in this hell realm. Because there is no point in being fake. There's no honor in being fake. It doesn't matter why you are being fake. If you're not real, I don't know if I can say you've lived your life. I can say maybe you've avoided suffering, but I still feel like you're gonna suffer. Like, the best thing you can do is to be as real as possible so that you will handle the suffering that comes with being real. You're like, yeah, even if I suffer, but I am being real. At least I'm being real. At least I'm not being fake. And you'll see some people suffering for being fake. Be yourself, man. No matter what the world says, don't be afraid to be yourself. No, be able to speak your mind. Be able to stand up for yourself. Be able to say what you feel is wrong and what you feel is right. Regardless of how you think people are going to react, even if people are going to judge you, even if people are going to say bad things about you, still be yourself. You will be proud of yourself in the end. There will be people who will agree with you in the end because you are being yourself. You do not want to be loved for being fake. You want to be loved for being real. That's how you evolve. If you let other people tell you who to be, you're not really evolving. They are winning because they are turning you into them. They want you to be like them. You don't want to be like anyone. You want to be you. You want to be like you. Don't ever look at another person and be like, that person is cool, that person is this and that. You are the coolest. Just embrace who you are. Without letting fear control you, without letting fear tell you who to be. You'll see how powerful you become. Thank you all guys for watching this video until the end. Thank you all for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for commenting on these channels. Thank you for sharing my videos. Let us keep on growing. Thank you.